So we're going to go over a few methods of allocating service costs, one using the direct method and one using the step method. So starting with the direct method, keep in mind when we're using direct, we are only going to be concerned with our manufacturing departments. So our focus is going to be on the mixing department and the packaging department. So here our goal is to find the total cost for each of those manufacturing departments. So the problem already gives us a few direct costs for mixing and packaging, but they're also telling us a bunch of service costs that are related to this company as well. So the first one is the information systems department. They have costs of $250,000 that they are going to be allocating based on square footage. So square footage is this one here, 250,000. And we have a total of 9,000 square feet for analyzing those manufacturing departments. So here our mixing department uses 5,000 of the total 9,000 square feet times 250,000. So we are going to be allocating 138,889 to mixing. Now our packaging department is going to be taking 4,000 of those 9,000 square feet. So they are going to be taking 111,111. All right, moving on to our next one. Our maintenance department has costs of 600,000 and they will be allocating based on number of machines, which is this last one here. And we have a total of 40 machines. Mixing uses 25 of those 40. And packaging uses 15 of those 40. All right, let's take a look at our next one, payroll. Payroll has total costs of 100,000, and we have a total of 41 number of employees. So mixing is 21 of those 41. So they are going to be, let me try that one just one more time to be sure. 21 divided by 41 times $100,000 we're trying to allocate. So 51,220 for mixing. And they will get the 48,780. So now that we've allocated all those costs based on the manufacturing department's allocation basis, or I guess I should say the allocation basis in those particular manufacturing departments, our last step is to calculate total cost. So we have our allocations, and we know that mixing had 700,000 and packaging had 250,000 in direct costs. So let's add those up, and we will find our total cost. So 700,000 plus 51,220, 138,889 plus 375. So we find that the total cost for mixing is 1,265,109, and then for packaging, $634,891. There you go. Now, when we're doing the step method, remember it does get a little bit more complicated here. When we're using the step method, we do have to go in a particular step order. This one tells us maintenance, then payroll, then information systems. So let's start with maintenance. Maintenance, we have total cost of 600,000, and we're allocating on the basis of number of machines. So keep in mind, we can't allocate back to our own department. So we're allocating that 600,000 based on 0, 0, 25, and 15. 600,000 based on a total of 40. So we're allocating 0 to information systems, 0 to payroll, 25 divided by 40 times 600,000. That gives us 375,000. And then 15 divided by 40 times 600,000, that gives us 225,000. Now our next one is going to be payroll. Payroll has costs of 100,000, and those are allocated on the basis of number of employees. So 100,000. Now remember, we cannot allocate back to our own department, so payroll can't allocate back to payroll, and also we don't want to put anything back into maintenance because that's already been allocated out. So we're left with 2, 21, and 20. So we have a total of 43 that we're allocating amongst there. So 100, let's start this way. 2 of those employees are from information systems times the 100,000 we're trying to allocate, 4651. 21 of the 43 are from mixing. So 48,837 to mixing, and then 20 divided by 43 times the 100,000, 46,512. Okay, so now that 100,000 is fully allocated. All right, our last one is going to be information systems, which up here it tells us that information systems has a total of 250,000 that it needs to allocate. But keep in mind that 250,000 also now has 4,651. So technically, information systems, the amount that we're trying to allocate there is 254,651. And we're going to be allocating that based on, we can't allocate back to ourselves, and we already allocated these out, so we're going to be allocating that based on 9,000 square feet. So 5,000 of the 9,000 square feet that we're using times the 254,651. And then 4,000 of the 9,000 times the 254,651. All right, and then same thing as before. Our goal again is to find the total cost. So let's bring those direct costs into the mix. Right, there's for our mixing department. Let's try that one more time. All right, there would be our answer for that step method. Now moving on to joint costs. You read a little bit about joint costs in your chapter. We're going to learn 2 methods for joint costs. One is the net realizable value method, and one is going to be our physical quantities method. So when using the net realizable value method, we're just going to be very basic with this problem. We're using that sales value at split off. So we need to allocate 60,000 in joint costs based on 40,000 to 35,000 to 25,000. So product A has 40,000 of those dollars. So that's 40% of the dollars times the 60,000 we're trying to allocate. So we're going to allocate 24,000 of the joint cost to product A. Product B is going to be 35% of those total sales dollars. So 35% of 60,000. That's going to be 21,000 to product B. And then product C, 25,000. No, 25%. I'm already halfway there. So 25% of the 60,000. So 15,000 will be allocated to product C. And those are your answers. Very similar with the physical quantities method. Our physical quantities method, I think you can kind of get a hint in the name. We're doing it based on units produced. So product A is 6,000 of the 12,000 total units. So 6,000 divided by 12,000, that's half. So they're going to get half of those joint costs of 60,000. So 30,000 is going to be allocated to product A. For product B, 4,000 of those 12,000. Give me a second, experiencing difficulties. There you go, 4,000 of those 12,000. So they are going to be allocated 20,000 of the joint costs. And I know my last one's going to be 10,000 because that's the last bit to allocate, but let's do the math anyway. 2,000 divided by the 12,000 total times 60,000. So 10,000. There we go. There you go. That should be relatively easy. All right, last, processing further, trying to understand the costs that are involved with deciding if we should go ahead and sell it split off or if we should process it further for a little bit of extra money. So for product X5, we have 20,000 units. Currently we get $5 for it, but if we process further, we can get an extra $5.50, or we can get $5.50, so an extra 50 cents, but our processing further costs are 12,000. So essentially, what we want to do is we want to find some incremental, so back to earlier chapters. So we can get an extra 50 cents if we do process further. So 50 cents times the 20,000 units. So that gives us $10,000 in incremental revenue minus our incremental costs, which are the cost to process further. So that gives us a negative result of 2,000. So since it's negative, that lets us know we would not want to process further. For the second one, that's $3 for 50,000 units. So that's $150,000 in incremental revenues minus the $100,000 for incremental costs. That gives us a positive 50,000, so that would have a positive effect on our net income. So yes, we would want to process further. For our last one, that's incremental sales price of $1.50 times 10,000 units. That's incremental revenues of 15,000 minus 14,500 in incremental cost to process further. And that gives us a $500 positive. So these two are the ones we would want to process further if we were focusing on that area.